Hey guys, I did a market at a new place. So this was at a bookstore, and I've done a market at one bookstore before, but it wasn't this bookstore. My friend that is an author told me about this one, and so we got to vend together and we got to sit next to each other. So it was really fun. This was a Halloween event, so it was a horror and thriller book festival event. So there were a lot of authors there, but there were also lots of other just random types of art and crafts and bakery items, and I think there was a couple of food trucks as well. So this market was really fun, and I got to meet a lot of cute dogs. I actually almost adopted a dog while we were there. They had a rescue there with a bunch of dogs, and there was a puppy that I really wanted, but I decided not to get it. And if you guys have seen my recent videos, then you know I ended up getting a different puppy. So I do have a puppy now, but it's not that one. And I got to meet this American bully that was so cute. This one was not for adoption. This was just somebody that was attending brought their dog, and he was so sweet and so cute and so muscular. This market was in a historical district, so the buildings were really old and it looked really cool, and the sunset was so pretty. So I got a video of what it looked like. We were outside on a street. They closed down the street for the event, and so it was really pretty and it was really fun, but I didn't make quite as much as I was hoping for. This was the view from my booth, and it was just really pretty there. And then at the end, you'll see my friend that's an author. There she is. So I'll go ahead and put in the video of my booth before the market. This is what my booth looked like before the market. So I had a pretty good stock on most of my smaller items, and then I had my fall and Halloween items out because this was in October. And then, of course, I had a bunch of cats as well. So I'll go ahead and get into what I sold at this event. The first thing I sold was an eyeball, and it sold for $8. The second thing I sold was a mini ghost, and it sold for $15. I was glad to sell those because I think this was my last event before Halloween. So I was really hoping to sell some of my Halloween items so that I don't have so much stock of Halloween stuff. I do just save it for the next year and try to sell it the next year, but I didn't want to have a ton of it to store until next year. Then someone got one of my little spiders, and it was a purple one, and that same person also got a red popping mushroom, and those sold together for $25. And that is the end of the first hour, so we are at $48, so not bad. Next, I sold 2 keychains. So one was my whale keychain, and this was the last one that I had, so I've got to work on making some more of those. And that same person also got my swinging pumpkin car hanger. So that is one that I did a pattern test for, I want to say a month or 2 ago. And I really liked it. I thought it was really cute, so I was glad to sell that. And those sold together for $24. I did $12 for each. Then I sold one of my medium cats, and this was a tan variegated, and it was the darker tan. I have 2 tan variegated yarns, so I usually put whether it's the light one or the dark one, and this one was the dark one. And it sold for $30. And then I sold a corn, and it sold for $20. And at this point, we are at the end of the second hour, so it is 8 p.m. And our total is $122. And then we have 1 more hour left to go of the market. The first thing I sold this hour was a small cat, and it was the black one with orange whiskers, and it sold for $15. So the next person got 2 keychains. They got my candy corn keychain and my chicken keychain, and those sold for $20 total. And then I sold 2 of my pins, and they sold for $4 total. And the last thing I sold was a small gray cat, and it sold for $15. And that was a dark gray one. And now we are at the end of the market. So the total for the market is $177. So not bad, but not what I was hoping for. I believe the booth fee was either $40 or $50. So counting like the money that I spent while I was there to get us food, it's pretty much like I profited $100 from that. So not amazing, but not terrible either. And it's one of those events that it was really fun, so I don't really mind that much that I didn't make a ton of money because I did enjoy the event. And I'm sorry I did not get any vlogging done while I was there. It was a rush to figure out where my spot was and where to set up and get everything set up. I think I actually didn't get set up until maybe 10 minutes after the event started, but there was kind of confusion. They had sent a list of where everyone was supposed to be, but then when I was looking at the map and who was there, it didn't seem like it was right. So they kind of had changed some stuff. And so one person told me to be over here, but then the other person told me, no, that's too far away. You got to be over here. So they ended up moving us closer where I wasn't so far away. So I did like that, but it was just a little confusing of figuring out where we were supposed to set up. But I am going to be having a market in just a few days, so hopefully that one will go a bit better than this one. It will be my first market in November, and right now I don't have any others booked for November. I'm going to try to get a couple more markets for November and December, but as of right now I only have one scheduled for December, and it is the biggest market of the year for me. So I am excited about that one, and I've got a lot of Christmas market prep to get done. But with that being said, although I have a lot to get done, I also hurt my finger yesterday, so I've got a Band-Aid on both sides. I had it all wrapped up, but I was trying to let it breathe a little bit more. So my puppy actually bit me, and she was not like trying to be mean at all or anything. She's 8 weeks old, and so she is still learning what is a toy and what isn't and how hard she can bite. And so I was petting my other dog, and she just reached up. I think she was really trying to get my other dog's ear because she likes to chew on her ear sometimes, and she got my finger instead, and it was a very hard bite. So I'm like, it hurts my finger to bend it all the way, so I'm trying to keep it straight. So with all that being said, I don't know how soon I'm going to be able to crochet. I'm going to try. I didn't do any crocheting yesterday. I'm going to try maybe some today, or I might use my knitting machine, because I think I'll be fine to use my knitting machine without that finger, whereas crocheting, I don't know, I feel like I really need that finger. So we'll see. But anyways, hopefully I will be able to get all of my winter items ready for my next markets. And for the upcoming markets that I have, I believe my next one is going to be everything that I crocheted in October. And then I'm going to have a couple more pattern recommendation videos. So I'm going to have one for Christmas plushie patterns, and then I'm going to have one for Christmas gift ideas that you can crochet. So I'm going to try to find something that you can crochet for pretty much everyone in your life. So something for the animal lovers, something for kids, something for adults, something for guys. So I'm going to try to find a lot of unique patterns in there for that video. And then after that, I should have a market vlog about this event that I am about to do in just a couple of days. So if you want to make sure to see those videos, then make sure you're subscribed and turn on the bell notifications so you'll get notified whenever I post. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.